What is up, Insomniacs? Son 518 here, back with another video on Sasha, my 2017 Tacoma TRD Pro. So as you know, I have done a suspension upgrade. I've got the Elkas in here, I've got the Deaver Stage 3, and I've been having a lot of vibration problems, specifically between about 15 and 25 miles per hour. It's even worse when slowing down, and after putting more weight in the bed, I found out that the vibration got better. So I was assuming that it was drive shaft angle related. I went online and I bought these.
So you guys are aware, I did not end up actually putting in the 4-degree shims. I did the other portions that are in this video, but I found out a little bit later on, which will be described later in the video, the reason why my drive shaft angle was as bad as it was, and I was able to fix it without installing shims. So keep watching, but I, filmed this all before I figured that out, so I kind of have to work it in somehow.
But yeah, so I'm gonna have to pull the tires off. I'm gonna have to pull off the damn the U-bolts again. So that means I get to torque those down again later. But that's fine. I'll get these installed. Well, I'll pull off the old leaf pack like bolts, whatever you want to call those. Install the new ones. Install the angle shims with the fat side facing to the rear, right? Because you want to kick the back down. And then once we do that, get that all buttoned up, I have another thing that is recommended, not necessary unless you really have an issue, but it is like 20 bucks, so I said screw it. From Old Man Emu, which is not the leaf pack or shock company I went with, but it's all right. They make these like, what are they, 8mm spacers, and this is for the carrier bearing. So for the 3rd gen Tacomas, and I don't really know about the 4Runners, but the drive shaft is 2 pieces, right? You have the short piece that's coming out of the transfer case, going into the carrier bearing, and then there's a transitionary piece, well, the carrier bearing, it sits inside of the carrier bearing, which connects to the rear of the rear drive shaft, which goes from there all the way back to the rear differential. So what this will do is it'll drop that carrier bearing down 8mm, which will not only help to reduce the amount of stress that's placed on the bottom of the carrier bearing, right? Because with all those sharp angles, a lot of force is going to be pushing down on it. So it'll reduce that stress, and then it'll also hopefully reduce that rear angle as well, going into the rear differential just a little bit more. And hopefully that'll solve all the vibration issues. If it doesn't, I have no freaking idea what to do, but hopefully it at least makes it a little bit better. And then of course, once I start adding more weight to the bed, because I have about 400 pounds in the bed right now, and the leaf springs are rated for 700 to 1,000, so I'm definitely underweight in the bed. And I just did that because future plans, I'm gonna end up with 700 to 1,000 pounds in the bed all the time. So I didn't wanna get one leaf pack now, and then in a year or two, when I have that amount of weight, have to get another leaf pack. So I just went big, and I'm gonna live with it for now. So I've got the axle resting on the tire there, and then you can see that is indeed disconnected from the little nublet. Well, that took much more effort than I thought it was going to. I just took the entire damn thing out, which is great. But I took the bolt off, and you can see the difference between these two. The newer one is quite a bit longer, and then also the little stack, the little nublet, has a washer, which makes it a little bit deeper. So now, instead of sticking through not at all, it'll go all the way through this spacer. So we're gonna go ahead and put these new ones on. I don't know yet how I'm gonna get these compressed. These bolts are longer, so I might be able to compress them enough by hand to be able to thread it. New day, same old problems. Different shirt, old shirt, it's fine. I have a better plan for today. I'm still a little anxious about it and overwhelmed, but I bought these. And they are 1,000 pound clamps, rated for 1,000 pounds. They don't need to have 1,000 pounds on them. They're not going to. They're gonna have somewhere around 400 or 500 pounds on them. But when I'm gonna take off, when I go to do the driver's side leaf pack, I'm gonna take off the leaf pack itself, throw the clamps on either side, and then undo the bolt, and then put the new bolt in. And hopefully that is enough to hold it all together while I do that.
little bit easier.
Well, that was a lot easier to swap the bolt. Should have thought of that before. I mean, I did think of it, I just didn't have the clamps. Second issue. I am not yet going to put in the 4-degree shims, because if you look at the actual leaf pack, and I didn't know this going into it, but I do now after more research, so hopefully I can pass this on to you. If you set the bottom of the leaf springs horizontal, which side is higher? And I'll tell you, it's that one. That's the rear currently. That is the front. This is how it was installed on the truck. The shackle, if I were to put it on that side, making it the back of the truck, that would push that end, which is taller, down further, which would then rotate the axle like this. So I'm pretty sure that when I installed them, I just installed them freaking backwards, and I very well may not have any sort of a problem with vibration and not even need to put the shims in, because it makes sense. If it was built for the dang truck, it would work just to install it. But I will say that Deaver did not provide any sort of instruction or any sort of direction other than left or right to install these damn things in. And if you're looking at it, you'd think, oh, I install it so that I can read the stickers. Well, that's not the case, so don't do that. I'm gonna swap the shackle to the other side, verify the passenger side is good, go for it, bolt it all up together, torque everything, go for a drive, and see if it fixes the problem. I'm still gonna install the drop kit for the carrier bearing up in there, but I'll do that after I go for a drive. And then also, depending on how much better the vibrations are once I get back from the drive from flipping the leaf packs, I may or may not install the 4-degree spacers. We'll see. But I put the bolt in anyway, so I don't have to do this crap again. All right, so I just pulled out of the driveway, and here we go. I'm at 10. I'm at 15. No vibration. Holy crap. I'm at 20. Bro, I'm so upset right now. You're telling me that is all I had to do? And if I had guessed correctly in installing those leaf packs the first time and put them in the other direction, then I wouldn't have the vibration. Well, I can guarantee I am not going to be putting in the 4-degree shims. So I guess I'm gonna be posting those online or something. I just can't believe that the drive shaft angle changed from 7 degrees to 2 degrees just from flipping them around. Yeah, there's no vibration. It feels exactly like the truck used to. It feels like nothing. I don't like clickbait or anything like that, and I hate it when people title like, "Don't do this to your Tacoma." But I'm probably gonna clickbait-ish on this video and being like, make sure you do this to your Deavers before you install them on your Tacoma or something. I don't know, something to kind of draw your attention, just because I watched 3 or even 4 different YouTube videos of very you know, well followed channels that all installed Deavers in their Tacomas, just to see if there was any issues that I might run into so I could learn from their mistakes, right? And there was nothing. You know, they all mentioned make sure you have the left and right correct, but nobody mentioned the orientation. And as you saw at the beginning of this video, I had a question about the orientation and thought, well, maybe they're exactly the same in both directions, so it doesn't matter. Well, obviously it does. Okay, so here we are underneath the truck, and you can see carrier bearing right here, and you've got a bolt here and a bolt here. It looks like they're shoved all the way to the back. So I'm going to try to reinstall it all the way to the back, but it is a 14 millimeter, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off these 2 bolts, and then the kit includes new hardware as well as the 8 millimeter shims itself. I don't know if I want to use the hardware.
So the kit recommends doing one side at a time. I'm just kind of cleaning it up with my finger a little bit. I would go super clean freak, but I'm tired and I hate my life. So I did the other side. I'm doing this one now, getting the spacer up in there, and I did end up deciding I'm going to use the same bolt, or sorry, the new supplied hardware, which of course is a different size. It is a 17 millimeter that you'll be using. I'm just kind of threading it up in there. I use this jack to hold it up. I don't think you need to. It's probably not that big of a deal, but I just wanted to make sure it didn't fall and do some weird stuff. So I've got the carrier bearing drop kit installed and just kind of doing a quick test drive. I will say though, disclaimer, that this video is being recorded after I had the 35s installed. So this is not on the same tires, not the Duratrax that I had before. So there is vibration that's coming from that. I will tell you that is not from the carrier bearing drop. That is from this. Also, point of note, because I didn't record it, but the torque value for the carrier bearing like bolts is going to be up on the screen right now, as well as the angles that I took, the angles that I measured following installing the drop kit. Those will also be getting thrown up on screen here. Basically, it's a rough assessment. I used a little app on my phone in order to measure the angle, and the carrier bearing itself obviously is not going to change angle, even though the numbers say that it did. That's just because I was using an iPhone app, but it's relatively consistent, so I can trust the numbers in an unofficial type of way. But you can tell that the drive shaft angle got significantly better. Now, because of the drop kit, the angle coming out of the differential, or not the differential, the transfer case, is worse, obviously, but I expected that. And that's also, I believe, a CV joint, like an actual bearing, rather than a U-joint, which means that it's not affected by the angle when it comes to vibrations. And I could go into like why the axle actually vibrates when the U-joint angle is all kinds of messed up, but it does, and I'm not going to get into that. But the differential angle is what I was going for, trying to minimize that if at all possible. So the angle of the drive shaft going into the differential, and I am back to being well within factory specs, which is amazing. So as you can see, the vibrations are gone. Well, maybe not so much that you can see, but I can tell you that the vibrations are gone very much. I still get a slight vibration when coming to a stop because it's kicking the back end up. But once I get more weight settled in the back, like a smart cap and the steel bumper and all that sort of stuff, it'll help to push the rear end down a little bit further. Then that vibration when stopping is going to go away. So very happy with it. I'm going to leave it set up the way that it is, and I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the video, or at least learned something. The goal of watching YouTube videos a lot of the time for me is just learning a thing or two. I learned a lot when installing the suspension on this truck. Obviously I don't do this for a job. I'm just trying to save myself a few dollars, instead of going to the shop, just doing it myself in the driveway, and to show you guys that it's totally possible to do in the driveway. But sometimes it takes a little bit more research than you think, and you kind of have to stumble upon those problems. But hopefully watching this video and watching the other videos of me doing stuff on my truck, y'all can kind of learn a little bit from my mistakes, and hopefully be able to not have to worry about vibration issues with your suspension upgrade on your Tacoma or your Ford or whatever the heck you're doing. And yeah, so hope you have enjoyed. If you have, then please come back, see me again. I got new stuff coming out every week. Not always an upgrade on the Taco or a maintenance video on the Taco, but there's definitely something that comes out that is hopefully interesting for everybody. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Midnight Sun out.